What's going on, gang? Today, I have exciting class for you today. We're going to talk about two strategies that I'm using to create massive wealth in the 2020 economic collapse. So I'm going to share with you two strategies, A to Z. But before I do, I want to talk about what has led up to this, the greatest depression in America, and then make the case for you why these two strategies are going to be amazing in this collapse. So, without any further delay, let's get started. If you listen to the TV, to the media, they've been telling you to about 2 or 3 weeks ago that everything is okay, to buy the dip, to buy the dip. But I, on the other hand, saw this coming since 2016, and I've been ringing the bell, I've been sounding the alarm that we're going to see massive foreclosures happen in America. We're going to see massive job losses because fractional reserve lending, the Fed was totally out of control. I saw personally with my own eyes so many people get into the real estate business. If it was for them to be a real estate agent, if they were going to be fix and flippers, if they're going to be wholesalers, whatever you saw. And so many waves came in, and I saw on my Facebook feed uh, so many people having success. It doesn't matter if I had no experience being an entrepreneur and they were school teachers, and all of a sudden they are now fixing flipping homes and making a great money. The reason was that the market was artificially fixed, artificially stimulated to just keep going up and up. So it didn't matter if you were very smart or not. As long as you took some action, you were guaranteed to make money. And that's why in 2016 I said, guys, real estate is too bubbly. It's going to crash. And there's so many other assets that are too bubbly, like the stock market and so on and so on, that's going to crash. And I said gold was the play, and everyone laughed at me for saying both of those things. So I exited real estate, got in positioning of precious metals, and we can see today that I nailed it on the top that we are going to see 40 to 60% sales on the stock market. And today, we're roughly at 35%. And this is just like the very start of it. This is just the very start of it. Why do I say this is the very start of it? Because we're never going to we haven't seen job losses like this in my whole life, probably in your life, right? What do I mean? We're talking about multiple industries being knocked down on their feet. Um, and the bug had something to do with it, but the bug is, I'm not going to get into that too much today. It's just a fear tactic to pull over the wool over the people's eyes because the elites, the big corporation, the corporation greed, the central bankers, the Fed, they've been just partying, making massive profits, and we are going to be the people that are going to have to bail them out and take the tab. Great example is of the con of the manipulation is that companies from home builders to airplane industry, hotel industry, IT industry, you name it, they were able to buy their own stocks. And I've been reporting about this for quite a while. And I said, dude, this is like the most manipulation that could be. How can a company that sells stocks be buying their own stocks to make the price go up? I mean, doesn't that sound like manipulation just like right off the bat? But the alphabet companies are supposed to be the regulators and protect us. They were cool with that, right? They were cool with that. Um, and again, they're always cool with these things to the meltdown happens, and then the regulators come out and say, "Look, we're going to make better laws. We're going to do this. We're going to do this," and that's what they said in the last crash, 2008, with mortgage-backed securities. Now, every crash, the side effects, the patient almost dies further, right? I mean, 2008 there was no food shortages. 2020 there's food shortages, and again they're blaming it on something to cover up the fuck ups. Excuse my language. I don't have that much vocabulary, but the fuck ups from the state to the federal to the corporations that are buying their own stocks, they're getting over indebted. I mean, for months now and for years now, I've been saying that corporations are walking around without a legitimate business. Their business is debt. If they get the debt, they can grow and expand. If they don't get the debt, they go bankrupt. And I thought, really, think about it. I thought business was about having a good product or service, right? I thought it was about creativity, not about how much money you can get to start off or continue your businesses. How can a business that's been in business for example, let's say Ford, the guy that revolutionized the whole industry, the car business, how can they need a handout, right? I mean, they sell millions of cars per year throughout the world. Why would they need a handout? Why do they not have reserves? Why do they not have money into the system? Why are they not taking that money and putting it back into research to make better products versus putting the money into marketing or putting the money into the elites, the managements, the top management, the CEOs with bonuses and stuff like that? Okay. Why are we not, why am I picking on Ford? I'm not, but I'm giving you an example because you can see one of the top revolutionary companies in the world go from being an alpha to a little bitch in a sense of we have to bail them out multiple times now. And I'm not saying that. The market is saying that they're being a little bitch. Excuse my language. Because why am I saying that? Because, see, Nissan, Toyota is putting Ford, GM out of business. They're putting them out of business in the sense of they're not going to be making cars anymore. They're not going to make cars anymore. Okay. Why would a company that has so much a heritage keep mismanaging their products, mismanaging their services, mismanaging, and come to the very last where they can't be making cars anymore because they can't compete with a Toyota when it comes to liability, when it comes to so many different things, guys. Okay. Well, that is a problem right there. So the problem is not going to be solved by borrowing more money, right? If Ford gets more money and more money, no, that becomes like a crack addict. Ford has become a crack addict because they're just used to borrowing more money. GM, the same thing. All these corporations, just easy money. There's a very small amount of businesses in America that have strong business debt free. I don't know that many companies in America that are debt free. Majority of companies in America are highly what they call leverage, which means they're indebted up the gazoo, right? They're indebted up to the gazoo. Now, why is that important? Because they are, puppet companies. If they don't get the bankers' money, they don't get the bankers' money. They're not going to be able to survive because they can't even make payroll. A lot of people think they see Ford everywhere, they see Chevy, and I'm not just picking on these guys. All of them, from American Airlines to the hotels, all of them, right? They are just growing because they're getting into debt. They're not growing because they have a great business system. Let me say that again. They're not growing because they had a great business system. Because if you have a great product or service, you can grow without that. Now, you're not going to get artificially beefed up like a company that's pumped himself with a bunch of steroids and borrowed a bunch of money. No, you're not going to get jacked up like that, right? But you have tremendous prosperity in America, tremendous abundance in America, because this is the greatest country ever. Okay, uh, but the problem is that everyone has been hooked into debt. Everyone has been hooked into their lacks. Well, you're A, you're a B, you're C. Versus, look, you're a beautiful person. You can be your dreams and start where you stand. Right? You have the skills, and the ones you don't have, nature's going to teach it to you through failure, through pain, and you just got to listen to those pains, right? And we, because that's how Henry Ford started. I read his biography, I read his books, I did the Napoleon Hill. So I like the company, I love the company, but I don't like the way they're doing stuff, right? Where They suck. I mean, no one wants to buy a Ford Focus. You rather buy a Honda Civic because the car will go 300, 400,000 miles. Where if you get a Focus, you're gonna have a transmission problem less than 100,000 miles. Right? You're gonna have major problems. So this is crap, like crap. Okay, for when they put the seal of made in America, it got to stand for something. It got to stand for something really, really good. And it's unfortunately Toyota. You buy a Toyota and you know that it means something. What does it mean? It means that you're going to get a lot of miles out of it. It means that your money's not going to be lost to the next 2.0 version of it. So all this free money, all this debt, all this growth, expansion, trying to grow 2.3%, 5% a year, 10% a year, it's all fake. And now is the time that all this mishap is going to have a tax and toll for the American people, the working class. And the toll is that right off their bat, they're down 35, and I'm going to say, it's going to be 40 to 60%. I've been saying this, off their retirements, off their 401s, off their pensions. Okay, if they're going to even get any pensions, right? Because they're giving money to everyone, right? So if you look at that, you can see that there's going to be a massive, massive, massive motivated sellers in the market. Unfortunately, and the people have been fooled through the media, to the school system, to the banking system, and now they're going to have to pay the price because the elites are not going to pay the price. Okay, so now this creates two opportunities to create wealth that I'm going to get into right now. Okay, because before I was talking about why we're in a situation where there's going to be massive motivated sellers, and I kind of explained it, right? And now these things are going to cause massive motivated sellers. And there's two things that I want to talk about that are going to create wealth. One is going to create wealth. The other is going to create riches. There's a difference. Riches, by my definition, is that when you make more money than your liability. So if your liabilities is $10,000 a month, that includes your rent, your food, your business, whatever it is that you got to pay for, and then you're making 15 grand a month, then you're rich, right? Because you get to keep that 5K and hopefully invest it, hopefully save it, whatever you do, but you're in a surplus, okay? Which I don't think most Americans are in that shape or fashion, okay? Not only Americans, all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, anyone that subscribes to these central bankers, fractional reserve, slavery, easy money theories. So let me get something to drink. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. The two opportunities, one is going to create you riches, which is going to bring more money in that your overhead is, or your all your liabilities are. The other one is going to create you wealth. Okay. um, Now the one that creates you riches is a lot easier to do, right? It's a lot easier to do, way less capital, way less risk, which is normal. And the one that's going to create you wealth is going to be more riskier, more capital requirement, and more skills. You got to have more skills, okay? And one of the reasons why I advocate to starting with the richest part, what I'm going to share with you both of these things. The richest part first is because you get this strategy that I'm going to share with you is going to help you get all the skills you need, right? Or majority of skills you need to create that wealth. Because to go from an E to the I quadrant in Rich Dad Poor Dad is almost impossible, because to travel from the E to the S to the B to the I, all quadrants will require different skill sets, different mindset, different liabilities, etc. So it's very smart to start with the riches and build the capital to where you overcome your expenses and you're in a surplus, and learn the skills before getting into the wealth phase. Okay, because that's the way I did it. I came here as a refugee to America. I lived in my car after college with $100. My dad's a refugee. My mom's a refugee, illiterate, don't even have a high school education, college education. And I can tell you, I started living in my car. I went from I had jobs like pizza delivery, waiters, but not a real job in junior high. From there to the S quadrant, which I did personal training, and that's what I used to for during college, sell supplements, etc. And then I started my moving company, my real estate brokerage firm, and those were all businesses that I got to manage many people, virtual assistants in third world countries, all the way down to real live people in my office, which then allowed me to get into the I quadrant, which is Mr. Investor, where I start buying subject to properties where the seller basically becomes my bank, where I didn't have to go to a bank. Okay. So I traveled this, and this is why I say every quadrant requires different skills. But to break it down, in the 2020 economic collapse, there's going to be two ways to create abundance. One is by creating riches. The, and I'm going to show you exactly what that is. And the other one is by creating wealth through real estate. Okay. So I'm going to start with this one first, creating wealth through real estate. And then I'm going to go to the easiest one. This is what I've been saying since 2016. This is uh, a subject to heaven, a subject to heaven. And what that means is that there's going to be massive, massive, massive amount of people that must sell. They just got to sell because they lost their job. For example, if you look at Vegas right now, well, majority of the people that live there, it doesn't matter if they have a $50,000 job or if they have a $500,000 job or a $5 million job. Well, some way or another, they're all going to get affected to the strip closing down. And the strip doesn't employ 10,000, 50,000. It employs millions, guys, millions. Like just one hotel. Okay, I was watching the hotel industry beg the president for a lot of money for bailouts. Or they weren't begging, they already let the people, they closed down. But they were like, hey, well, if you want us to not fire them, you know, and have 200, 300,000 workers laid off per casino. You know what I mean? Not just one, not all of them, just per casino. Okay, they were saying they want $45 billion a month to keep everyone on payroll. So, anyways, I'm not laughing at the people that lost their jobs. I'm making these videos for these individuals. I'm just laughing at the stinky CEOs that bought their own stocks in the situation, that overspend, paid themselves big bonuses, had bed 10 houses, and now they want me and you to bail them, where they should have put their some money, some cheese in a little saving and a little vault to have money for emergencies, right? Because that's what normal people do, right? That's normal people put money away for emergency, or smarter people, I should say. And businesses should be smart. That's why they should have a business, right? If you're not smart, you're not willing to get the skills, you shouldn't have a business because you're going to fail and you're not going to adapt. Then these individuals that were smart and they start businesses, they should have been smart about that. And if they weren't smart about that, they got yachts and jet skis and bonuses and massive, massive profits. Then they got to pay their reaper. They got to pay their reaper. That's part of a free enterprise. That's part of a free capitalism. We can't babysit. We can't select which companies are going to be elite. That's what we do, and that's why we don't have a free capitalism in America, ladies and gentlemen. So there's going to be massive, massive motivated sellers. Just take Vegas, for example. All these people that have been off right now, well, how are they going to make their house payments? Tell me, how are they going to make it? Sure, they will give them $1,000. Sure, they will give them $2,000. Sure, they'll give them $3,000. Sure, they'll give them some kind of program so they can get into debt. Sure, maybe they'll put that amount in the rears, or they're going to ask that amount at a later time. Whatever they do, okay, uh, there's still going to be massive, massive foreclosures. And the part of that is it's just like bankruptcy. Anyone that hasn't done bankruptcy and they go to an attorney, and I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving you financial advice, but I've been in the business since 2006 dealing with homeowners that have filed bankruptcy. And here's what I've seen: people that haven't filed bankruptcy, they think, man, I'm going to file bankruptcy and I'm going to stop this foreclosure. And they pay the attorney 5, 7, 10 grand, whatever it is. And then 3 months, 6 months down the line, they realize that, the banks are going to take their home still. right? They just extended some free rent, but they're gonna take their home still. And this is the same thing. The banks may not want your money in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or they may not foreclose in that time. But once they open the doors, there's going to be a flood of foreclosures. Okay. And so there's going to be a massive amount of motivated sellers out there. And the whole title of this was how to build wealth without bank loans. And what I'm going to show you right now, what I'm going to teach you right now is how to create wealth, okay, without a bank loan through a strategy that I've been applying since 2006, 2007, 2008, basically the last crash. And the way I stumbled upon this strategy was that I wasn't able to get um, real estate traditionally, because at that time, even though I had a couple of $100,000 in the bank, instead of just buying one property, I wanted to buy a lot of properties. And at that time, the banks seized the credit. They weren't lending. And no matter how many banks I went to, I showed them my income, my business, all this stuff, how much money I say, they weren't lending a penny. So I had to create a different way, which I'm about to share with you. So that's the history of how I came to this. But at first, I didn't believe this strategy would work. I didn't even know this strategy was available. And once I did my first deal, I became a believer. Okay. So with this strategy is that there are so many people that have loans on their homes already. That's why I don't need a loan, because there are so many people that have loans on their homes, and there are going to be so many people that are highly, highly motivated. One example is in Vegas, for example. I'm just picking on one state just to simplify it, because we know the strip is closed down. Okay. There's no argue about that. Well, millions of people work there. Now, millions of people in that area are not going to be able to make their house payments now or coming up very, very soon. They may delay it, but eventually it's going to flood through, like flood. That's why I've been calling this a tsunami of foreclosures, tsunami of motivated sellers. And so the strategy that I use is that I market to these motivated sellers, and I learn about their situation, and I try to create a win-win situation to help them out so the bank doesn't get their property. That way, they don't get a black eye. What is a black eye in real estate? Where they don't get a foreclosure. Because if they get a foreclosure, it's going to be on their records for quite a while, and it affects everything from their cell phone to cable. Everything now is going to change because they're going to have bad credit. So I target these sellers to my marketing, and then I talk to them, and there's series of questions and all this stuff. I'm not gonna have time to get into it. I ask them, okay, and then I create a win-win situation where I could get their home. They could save themselves having a black eye, right? And they can move to the next chapter of their home, and they're gonna deed me the property, which means that I'll be the rightful owner of it. However, here's the most important part: their mortgage is still under their neck, still under their name, and they know about it because it's all in the paperwork, and we do it all at an attorney's office or a title company. And so the mortgage is under their neck. What does that mean? Okay, that means that if I pull up their social security, right, I pull it up, I'm a car dealer, I pull it up, I see that they have this debt of the mortgage, but they don't own the home. And this is what I call their best worst option for these home sellers, because they're this is not their best option. The best option, right? The best option is to sell it traditionally, but guess what? Central bankers, the Fed, over expenditure, corporate buybacks, all that stuff that I explained earlier, put all these people in harm's way. And this is now what they got to do. They're going to have to lose their homes, lose their monthly payments they paid, all the improvements they made, whatever, to foreclosure, and they cannot sell traditionally because there's so many other people trying to sell. For example, let's take Vegas again. The strip closed, people can't go to work. Well, they're going to compete with all those people that were trying to sell their homes before this thing happened. And then all those people now that are affected, what I call the motivated sellers, right, that are already affected, trying to sell. There's going to be massive inventory. And here's the thing: people are now going to be scared. All those real estate agents, all those investors that were coming into the business are now running away with their ducks between their tail. So there's not going to be buyers for this stuff. And the retail people are very, very scared. They're not going to be buying stuff, even though that the market will be crashing and the price of real estate will be coming down. People are not going to do anything because people are scared, because there's blood in the streets. However, my strategy is still risk, but the risk for me is very, very little. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties, but that's how life is. But I'm still very grateful to have technology to be able to connect with you at the comfort of your home. Now, what I was saying earlier is that there's going to be tons of motivated sellers, and there is no loan that I have to get because everyone has a loan already. And so my strategy, what it does is finds these motivated sellers, creates a win-win situation, and I just take over their loan. Okay, I take over their loan. That means that I don't have to get a new loan. I don't have to pay all the junk fees that are associated with the loan generation, like all that stuff the bankers or the brokers charge me. It's awesome because the debt is not under my neck. It's not under my neck. It's under the seller's neck, and he or she already knows that, and they consent for me to take over. Okay, their payment. And what I do at that time is when I buy the property, I'm not buying it because I think the property is going to go up tomorrow. No, 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 no. I know that the property value is going to come down. Okay, for a while, but I'm buying it because right then and there I'm getting a massive cash flow from the property, a massive cash flow, which is why it even makes sense because it doesn't make sense to buy any investment while the market is falling. It's kind of like catching a knife that's spinning in the air, right down. Okay, but if I buy a house and this guy's mortgage is $1,000 for a $200,000 home because interest rates were at all times almost zero, okay, thanks to the free money, thanks to the massive bubble, hyper bubble they've created for us. So his seller's mortgage is going to be ultra low compared with to what the rents are in the area. Okay, the rents are in the area are a lot higher just by inflation by itself, just by them printing money. Okay, and but there's more factors. But as more people lose their homes and they get into the want to get into a rental property, as they print more money, the rental property value is going up. You can see that demand and price of rentals are going to go up by inflation and demand by itself. Okay. And which is already at an all time high, and it's going to create more than what the debt value is. Okay. Uh, and right off the bat, when I buy this property, I'm going to get passive income, not $100, not $200, not even $500, more than that on many of the properties. Okay. That I've seen, and that's why I would buy this property. So instead of me going to a bank to buy this seller's property over here, I don't do that. I just take over the seller's payments. I don't have to pay for all the junk fee, closing costs, all the loan origination fees, nothing. All I do is just make the guy's next month payment and then put an ad out and rent the property out. Simple. Or chop up the rooms into multiple units and then rent it out that way, which is even more profitable. Or do Airbnb or whatever. But uh, that's my strategy, and that's why in 2020 is the best time to apply this strategy because there's going to be so many motivated sellers. So it doesn't make sense for me to borrow money from a hard money lender. It doesn't make sense for me to borrow money from private credit card banks because there are excessive loans out there. Okay. And we're going to have a situation where we're going to have excessive motivated sellers. Excessive, excessive in many levels. We are having job loss like you've never seen before. I'm not talking about 10,000, 20,000. I'm talking about companies letting go 100,000, one company, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people, just one company. Okay. Like you never seen it before, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And either way, excessive unemployment is coming. They could try to print out money and give out to people, which eventually is going to make the dollar collapse. Right? If they don't do that, then massive amount of people are going to get job loss. Either way, there's going to be massive amount of motivated sellers out there. One is going to be the tsunami of tsunamis now, and the other one's going to be a tsunami, and the rest coming later. Okay. Either way, there's going to be tons of motivated sellers. Unfortunately, thanks to the stinky bankers, not me, the bankers. I've been warning people since 2016 that this is coming. Okay. So these sellers are going to be of three categories, what I call motivated sellers. The ones that I'm looking for personally or the sellers that are in great financial situations, but they lost a lot of money, right? Because of the stocks, their businesses, whatever. But they still have are in great financial position compared to the average workers. So these sellers are going to pay me to take over their monthly mortgages. Okay. One way or another, they're going to subsidize my investment, just like Uncle Sam does for big corporations. That's what I'm looking for. So that's the one type of motivated sellers. Now, those are going to be harder to talk to negotiate. You're going to have a lot more skills versus the other two that I'm going to talk about. So on one extreme, we're going to have highly motivated sellers that are not financially strapped. They still have money, but they lost millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're not highly motivated, but they're very sophisticated and they still got money, but they're just like, man, screw this, I'm out, right? In this rental or in this property that I bought or vacation home. Hello, Bird. How are you? Thank you so much for your presence. Okay. Now, the other two ways that one of these deals can happen is that the other spectrum is where you're going to have these, working class Americans, good people that lost their jobs, didn't have any savings. They live paycheck to paycheck. They're in debt, and that these people are going to have what's called emotional motivation plus financial motivation. And these people are what's going to be, they're going to be behind in money. They're going to be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, just depends. Okay. These are the people that an investor would have to give them some money. Now, we don't give them money in their pockets. We just have to make the back payments. Okay. So there's three types of ways that what I call these deals can go through. Okay. The first one is what the seller pays me, and that's the type of people I'm looking for. The other, the low hanging fruit, right? Which doesn't mean that these are bad deals. Just because they're low hanging fruit, they could be beautiful watermelons just hanging low on the ground, right? I mean, wow, delicious. However, these sellers will have all kinds of homes, $1 million homes, $500,000 homes, $300,000 homes, $70,000 homes. Okay, but these type of workers are going to be behind on their payments, 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, or just getting behind. Who knows? And in this situation, the investor has to make payments to cure the loan, which what that means is to make the rears, the back payments to get the loan current. Okay, because if not, the bank's going to foreclose. So that's why these sellers are highly motivated because they're broke, they don't have a job, they lost all their money in a 401, whatever, and now they need someone to make their payments, or the house is going to go to foreclosure. And so in this case, the investor will say, look, your payments are $1,000 a month. The fair market rental comes at $2,000 a month. Okay, you're 3 months behind. I'm willing to pay that $3,000 3 months and own the property. The seller deeds in the property. The seller gets to go to the next chapter of life. They don't get a black eye. They don't have to file a bankruptcy, which is two black eyes. Okay, they don't have to have a black eye or two black eyes. They get to move with the next chapter of their home, and the investor saves that their credit, the homeowner's credit. They make the back payments to the bank, and then the next month they put it on, let's say Craigslist, and rent it out for $2,000 a month. And now in 3 months, 4 months, the investor has got all their money back, the $3,000 they paid for the rears, and now they're positive, and they own this house with only $3,000 up front, maybe 750 bucks for closing or 1,000 bucks for closing, $4,000. Okay, so in 4 months they're broke even, and anything after that they're going to be in a positive. And now they get to control this beautiful home, assuming it's a beautiful home, right? And they control it. Now, most of these people that are going to do subject to deals are going to have beautiful homes. I mean, you're going to have shittier homes too, but majority, all the deals that I bought were beautiful homes that I would live into or let my mama live into, guys. Okay, so that's as simple as that. There's a lot of moving parts into it, but I would be buying that property not because it's going up. Please understand that it's not going to go up; it's going to go down for a while. But I'm going to be buying the property because right then and there, when I buy it, it's going to be massive cash cow. And I'm buying a property, not a war zone, not a fix and flipper, because this is not a time to do fix and flips for me. This is a time to buy beautiful homes in an appreciating area in high demanded area where schools are top notch, that people want to eventually go move there. And when the market turns around, they're going to go in value. Okay. So I am buying beautiful homes in beautiful areas that are high demanded. And at this time, the seller's highly motivated. I'm in this situation, the seller's behind. I take over their payments. So we're talking about three different ways that these motivated sellers are going to happen. The second way is the seller's behind. I got to make their back payments. The very first way is the way that I'm going to be doing the deals is where I find sellers that are going to pay me to take over their payments. Okay, because they're financially hurt, but they still got a lot of money, right? They're not behind in payments. They're actually doing good. They care about their credit. Now, there's three ways. The other way is the people in the middle. The people in the middle may be in a situation where they know they can't make the payments anymore, but they're not behind, but they will be soon. And sellers here are also a great option for me because I don't have to make any payments. So if I don't want to be making any payments from any seller for three, let's say they're behind 2 months, I don't want to make the payments, man. Why should I do that? There's so many deals out there, right? I'm looking for people that are going to pay me 5, 10 grand to make their payments. I'm looking for people that are got beautiful homes, but they're not behind at all. Okay. In the 2006 crash, fourth quarter, I keep saying that because that's when I saw the market crashing for anyone else. Just like this time in the 2006 fourth quarter crash, I was taking over a lot of people that were behind in payments. And I made a lot of money from that. I'm not dissing on that. I would take over someone's payment. They were behind three months, let's say. I put 3 grand in, and then in 6, 7 years, I would make $100,000 in equity cash out. I would make $80,000 in monthly cash flow from holding it and babysitting the house for that 5, 6 years. So I made a lot of money from that. So there's a lot of opportunity in that, in those low hanging fruits. But for me, I know that I don't need 20, 100 homes. I just needed just a couple, right? Just a couple, and I'm gonna cherry pick the best of the best. I don't need to be on top of the mountain and beat everyone else and be like, ooh, I already went through that phase, right? That's why I gave up all my stuff and I wasn't happy to the homeless people. So I just need one house for my kid, one house for the other kid, one house for the wife, one house for me, and maybe one rental or two rentals, and that's it, dude, right? But they're gonna be the best of the best creams. I don't need to have 100 doors. I don't want to be working every day. Money is fake, dude. You know what I'm saying? We seeing it right now. What I want to do is have passive income, and so I could not do anything, to continue to do what I do right now, which is do my dream versus having a job. Okay, and leave a little something because I give up all my stuff, or almost all my stuff, to the homeless. And so I want to create a little something for my kids, so they don't have to work. They don't have to, have a job and work for the man and worry about how they're going to pay their next bill or whatever. So that's it. So I'm going to cherry pick the best of the best deals, the beautifulest homes, the ones that are going to be home runners. Everything else is for everyone else, which is, even if you do the first basers like I did back in 2006 when I didn't know shit about real estate, and I would buy homes that were behind 3 months, 4 months, 1 month. I still did very, very fine, right? Very, very fine. Amazing. I mean, more than I could do fix and flipping, more than I could do with many businesses, more than I could do if I had borrowed the money from a bank. Okay. So if you're interested in, finding these deals, learning how to do these structures, how to negotiate, then you have two options. Option number one is what I create a self-help book. It's called my Owner Financing for Profits. Owner Financing for Profits. I bundled up three different courses that's going to help you find these sellers, 42 ways to find these motivated sellers for free or almost for free. I've included my Owner Financing for Profit course, which teaches you how to do all this stuff that I did in the 2006 era. I packaged it all for you, from how to buy it, how to close it, how to insure it, and so on. Okay. And then on top of that, I also give you my third course, which is the negotiation on a subject to owner financing, which you know how to negotiate, because it's very important for you to identify the type of sellers that you're talking to. Are they emotional? Are they logical? And identify them, because in my no fluff negotiation, I go through all that because I talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of sellers. And I've identified the characteristics of all these motivated sellers in different types. And I've came with offers and rebuttals for each type of sellers. And if you identify, okay, this is an emotional seller, then you give them an emotional closing. Or this is a deadbeat seller, then you give them the deadbeat closing, and so on. So I have all that stuff for you. And right now, the course, you can get it for just $197. Okay. Normally it sells for $2,300. I had 50. Now there's only 18 left. And I just started to sell just yesterday, guys. So don't wait around. Go to mrnofluff.com, download it. It's everything you need to know how to do these types of deals that I just talked about in the 2020 crash. From to find them, to how to structure them, to how to negotiate. I mean, I'm talking about each course is a standalone course, but I packaged it up because I want you to succeed. And you can get it right now for 197. It's self help. You just listen to yourself and you apply it. And a lot of you guys and gals can do that by yourself because that's the way anyone can do it, right? Now, if you need more help, you're like, hey, I want to get on the fast track, guys. I want to go ahead and do deals now. I need someone to ask questions. I need someone to watch over my shoulder. I need someone to hold my hand so I don't fall in the pit hole. Then, if you have your money right, then you may consider joining my profit sharing. In my profit sharing, I work with you one on one for one whole month, right? And then if you want to continue further with me, it's only $119 a month. So in the profit sharing, the other great news is I'll give you $9,500 of business tools that you need for your business, from the paperwork to creating your own funnels to emails to follow-ups to mobile marketing. Everything, guys, is too long to explain here. So I give you in the profit sharing, I take care of you because I'm going to work directly with you. And I'm going to work with you. We're going to split the profits on one deal, okay? 50-50. After that, you go on your merry way, or you can still work with me. It doesn't matter. And the cost of the profit sharing is 3K for 1 month of coaching plus $9,500 of free business tools that you will need 110% to have success in this business. I'm going to give it to you as a gift to you, okay? And it's not for everyone, but if you need to be on the fast track because the opportunity is going to close, it's not going to last forever, right? Just like anything in life, opportunities close. Then you may consider joining my profit sharing 3K for 1 month of one-on-one coaching. After the 1 month is only $119 if you decide to stay. If you don't want to, then it's just 3K. Adios. I'll give you all my trade secrets. I'll give you all my tools, and I'll work with you for 1 month, and then boom, that's it. You go your merry way. But if you like me, and if I like you, you want to work together more, and I like to work with you, then it's only $119. You get the same amount of coaching for just $119. You can do that for however you want, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, whatever it is, because I can help you no matter what you're doing, from your own personal business to quitting your job to doing subject to deals. Okay. So if you want to build true wealth, you got to do it when there's massive panic, massive fear, massive selling, massive inventory, and when there's less competition, which is the best time now because the real estate agents are now leaving the industry. The wholesalers are now leaving, and they will be leaving in rows more and more and more. The fix and flippers are going to be leaving, guys, okay, because they've got hurt. They got hurt, and I told them they didn't listen, right? They've lost money, a lot of it, okay. So that's the option, the two options. You can do it yourself through my owner financing for profit advanced course, which is hours and hours of training for just $197. There's only 18 left out of the 50. Normally it's $2,300. Or you can work with me direct for 3K. It's not for everyone. 3K for 1 month of coaching plus all the business tools that you need to succeed for free. A gift from me to you. Okay. Now let's talk about the riches, guys, because everyone should create more income than what they consume. So if your overhead is $5,000 a month, then you should really create more than that so you can have a surplus. Because believe it or not, if you want to be your dreams, you got to have a surplus than what you consume. I know in America, I know in the bankers, the agents, everyone's told you can just get into debt as leverage, it's good debt, whatever. But really, guys, you don't want to be getting into debt with your own name. Okay, not financial advice. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. These are just my opinions. But one thing I know is why we're here today is because of massive debt, massive leveraging. The reason people are selling so much in the stock market is because they're leveraged. They're using margins. The reason we see people selling gold is because they're over leveraged in other assets. The reason we're seeing people sell Bitcoin at the level they are is because they're using margins and they just got wiped out. Okay. So leverage in corporations kills. Leverage and markets kill. So the best thing is to create, which is creativity, imagination. The best thing is to be a producer, not a consumer. And our nation has gotten away from being the massive producer like Henry Ford was, the guy himself, not the corporation, to be a massive consumer. And the massive consumer means you got to have deficiencies. That's why you have to borrow. And I don't think that's the right way to do business in America, because America is such a great country. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's one of the best countries ever. Opportunity is so abundant, but everyone falls into the propaganda of marketing that, growth, and it's all shammy. And the number one way to create riches in the 2020 economic collapse is what I call the new flip. I use it every day. Every morning I wake up, I go and do it every freaking day, guys. Before I go to bed, I do it. Before I get up, I do my yoga, I do my exercise, and I do the new flip. I only spend 10, 20 minutes in the mornings, 10, 20 minutes at night, and that's it, guys. That's it. You see that beautiful bike behind me? I bought it through the new flip. And the way the new flip works is that I started with $100 capital, where I teach anyone to start their own business with $100 capital, no more, no credit, no banks, no extra tools, no websites, no special skills, nothing. Only what I teach you in the course. Okay. The new flip teaches you how to start with $100, take this $100 and 200% it real fast, up to 700%. Now I'm averaging up to 300 to 700% on a regular basis. So that means I put $100 in and I make 500, I make 700 real quick, like in an hour's worth of work or less, guys. Okay. Uh, Over and over. And I don't know any place right now in the markets or real estate or gold or Bitcoin that I can do that. And that's why I created a new flip. I created, first of all, for my students, because I wanted them to reprogram them, for them to realize how great America is, how you can start with nothing and create wealth, create riches for yourself by just applying yourself through creativity, imagination. You don't need significant education or credit score or a bunch of money. All you need is these skill sets that I'll let you download and action. And if you do that, it'll reprogram you, because you see that you can take $100 and turn it to $700. You're like, wow. And you do that, and you do that, and you do that, and you do that, and you're like, oh shit, I got 5 grand. Oh shit, I got 10 grand. And it only took hours versus months and months and months, which is awesome. And here's the greatest thing on the risk side, because your startup capital is only $100. So if you lose, all you lose is $100. Can you lose? Yes, you can lose. Let me tell you, because life is risky. Life is risky. Okay, but here's the thing. I'd rather you lose $100 versus $100,000. I know so many people that borrowed money to start a business and they're into debt at $200,000. And when people lose that, man, they're gonna be indebted forever. Well, is it better to start a business that you can make $200,000 or $300,000 with only $100, or is it better to borrow $100,000 to make the same amount of gross profits? Doesn't make sense. Okay, so if you lose, you can lose only $100. But I haven't met any students that lose any money. I haven't lost any money, but it's a possibility, and I want to let it be out there. But the great news is, if you do lose, it's just $100, right? But here's the thing: your ability to lose, your risk is this much, because it's only $100. Not much, this much. But your opportunity is this much. And this is why 2020 is the best reason to be an entrepreneur, to be an investor, because your risk is this much, but the opportunities are this much. Back in 2016, it was totally opposite. The risk was this much. The stock market kept going up and up and up and up. The risk was this much. The only way it's going to go after that is down, ladies and gentlemen. It's common sense. I could have a coin. I could throw it up. Eventually, it's going to come back down. It's just gravity. It's just how it works, dude. So in 2016, the risk was this much. The opportunity was this much. And every fool was lining up for it. But in 2020 economic greatest depression, the risk is this much. The opportunity is this much. Everything is on sale. Stocks are on sale 35%. Now I know it's going to go down. I'm not telling people to go out buy stocks, because that's the last thing, right? Because I hate stocks, because it's a gimmick. You don't have to have no new skills. You don't have to do anything. You just put your money and just it just goes up. You just eat your bombs. You chill. See that's not how life is. That's not how nature is. Okay. So I'm not talking about stocks, even though there's great opportunities in them, but there's great opportunities in highly motivated sellers. And the new flip teaches you how to start your own business in a proven system with motivated sellers. Because if you could do the new flip and you could raise 3 grand, 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever, 100K, whatever you want to do, but as long as you could do it 3 times in a row successfully, then you can now transit from the B quadrant into the I quadrant, which is investing, which is now you can build wealth in the 2020 biggest crash ever, right? Because there's so many motivated sellers out there, and the whole business of the new flip is to deal with motivated sellers. So that's why I always recommend all my students, if they never had a business before and they want to become a real estate investor, is to first have a successful business, which is called the new flip. At the very minimum, do it 3 times successfully. And if you can't do that, then please just keep a job, because by honestly, you don't have what it takes in your brain, because you're gonna make excuses, you're gonna make what ifs, and this is not gonna work. This all that brain thinking that's not gonna let you go anywhere. Because the new flip will teach you if you're prepared mentally and if you're prepared to take action physically. And if those two don't merge together, you're not gonna have success. And if you can't do the new flip because mentally you make excuses or physically you're not willing to take action, by heaven God, please don't become an entrepreneur. Don't become a real estate investor. Give your money to the people that have ruined your 401s. Give it to them, because they'll know what to do with you, right? And they've already know what to. Here's the consequences. They're doing what you should do, because you're not responsible, right? And if you're not responsible, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship requires sacrifice, requires creativity, requires imagination, requires effort, right? Only a job where you could just go in there and half-ass it, and you're guaranteed a paycheck on Friday or Monday. I don't know. I've never had a job, a real job, ladies and gentlemen. I've been an entrepreneur since high school. Never had a job. Never borrowed money from a bank. Don't have any credit cards. Don't have any debt. I tighten my belt to be my dreams. And I highly recommend you to do that, because it forces you to get those calluses that you need to be able to survive no matter what the economy is, no matter if they're printing money, if they're not printing money, no, it doesn't matter. And that's why I encourage you. The new flip teaches you. So the new flip right now, you can get it at my website for, I believe, 90% off. And in the new flip, you're basically getting 3 things into one. You're getting a book, you're getting a video training course, and you get the manual, which you just copy and paste through your computer. You don't have to go anywhere, through your computer, because everyone's quarantined. The new flip through your computer. Okay, blah, 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 make money, and then once you do at least 3 successful, if you now want to get into real estate wholesaling, you want to get in real estate landlording, now is a great time, because you have proven yourself that you have the skills and the mindset to be your dreams and follow instructions. Okay. Or you can continue doing a new flip and stack them chips, man. Stack them chips and buy whatever you need, right? For your investment, for your marketing. You know, it's much better to put $100 in, turn it into 10,000, take your $100 out, and now that $10,000 you can use it for your business of building wealth. You can use it for marketing. You can use it on making people's back payments. You can use it for whatever. You can use it like I use it. I use some of the money to buy, guys, me and my wife bikes. $1,700 bike. I paid it to the new flip. My wife is a $2,000 bike. We paid it to the new flip. Now I did negotiate and get a deep discount, but that's a different story. Okay. But MSRP, that's what they are. And I used the new flip. All the emergency food that we bought, dry food that I report to you that there was shortage. Okay. All through the new flip. So new flip is very, very powerful. You can make hundreds and thousands of dollars from it if you're willing to do it. Okay. Now with the new flip, you can do it full time, because a lot of people are going to be laid off and you got nothing to do. So you can do it full time where you become your own boss, or you can do it just a part time as a side hustle, as a side gig, or something you do once in a while to supplement your income. But it's quick, fast money. It works. Doesn't matter if you're in California or if you're in Oklahoma, if you're in Canada, if you're in UK. I have students in all these places. All this requires you to just take action and have belief in yourself. And if you can do that, you can be an entrepreneur. And both of these items, the new flip and the owner financing for profit, which is going to work in the 2020 class, which only deals with motivated sellers, are going to make you a lot of money. And you can get it right now on my website for massive discount. The new flip, 90% off. The owner financing for profit, 92% off. These are great courses that are self-help. You can listen to them, you can learn yourself, you can take action. The new flip is super simple, even your kids can do, but it's highly effective as a grown-up. I do it every day. The owner financing is highly effective. It's the best time to buy houses subject to. I've been saying this since 2016. I've been forecasting what this is what's coming, and we're in it, what I call subject to heaven. And there are so many motivated sellers out there. It's unbelievable. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be massive, massive coming. And anyone that wants to buy their own home, anyone that wants to buy doors for rentals, anyone that wants to have passive income where you don't have to work and trade your time for money, please consider downloading the owner financing for profits and studying it. Even if you're skeptical, you think, oh, this doesn't work, just download it and listen to the stories, listen to what I have done. And you can get it for right now for $197. Life-changing situations. And don't forget, guys, I have my free book at mrnofluff.com. Download my free book, mrnofluff.com. It's revolutionary. And if you need one-on-one help, you need someone to hold your hand, watch over your shoulder, profit sharing, 3K. I'll work with you direct for one whole month, guys. One whole month at mrnofluff.com. Click on profit sharing. And remember, guys, don't have fear. Be your dreams. Don't take no for an answer. See you at mrnofluff.com. Peace.